What's going on, everyone? Welcome to the Broker Challenge, and we're excited to spend the next few days together with you, working on ultimately helping you get 3 new agents and 3 new profit centers minimum from the things that you're going to learn over the next 3 days. But I want you guys to know that this event is put on for you as broker owners, by broker owners. Everyone that's going to be presenting today, with the exception of Mike Ferry, who will be on tomorrow, everyone that's presenting is actually in the trenches as a broker owner. And we're going to be pulling back the curtains on everything that we're doing in our businesses to help you mimic, copy, have the same success and fun and growth that we've had in our businesses. So I'm going to just quickly tell you a little bit about myself. I will be your moderator and MC for the event over the next 3 days. And we will have different speakers come on. I'll intro them, give you a little background, and then we'll save time for Q&A after all the presentations. My name is Sam Karamian. Me and my business partner, Oliver, run a company called Big Block Realty. We have close to 1,200 agents and started national expansion through franchising just about 6-7 months ago. We just a few highlights. We've been on the Inc. 500 list, top 35 fastest growing companies 3 years in a row. And we really focused a few years ago on starting to expand our business into additional profit centers. And that's a lot of stuff that I'll be talking about on day 3. Mike Bernier will be talking about tomorrow. And I'll help you understand more of what that means. And the exciting thing is we're going to show you places to not only recruit in some sort of automation, recruit with different techniques. We're also going to show you how to add a bunch of different profit centers where me and my business partners in Big Block have done very well with, as well as our first speaker that's going to come up, who is Long. But before I intro Long, a couple of things about the event. This is designed as a challenge. So every day we're going to give you some actionable items that you can work on at the end of the presentation through the rest of the day. So both days you will get some challenges, and you're going to get invited into a Facebook group if you have not yet already been invited. And we're going to share our success with the challenges inside of there. And we really want you to participate, because the goal for us, we're very confident that if you work on the things that we're talking about and we share with you, that you can get the success and things that you're looking for and fulfill on the promises that we made over the next 3 days. But these are actionable items that should really be incorporated into your business, and we'll be here to support the best that we can. We also want this to be very much for you. So what does that mean? It means make sure that as a presenter speaking, you can send over questions. We're going to try to have all the presenters do Q&A at the end, or we'll continue the conversation in the Facebook group while the event is live. But don't be shy, raise your hands, or I guess more than raise your hands, it's more like ask your questions, type them in this digital world we're living in. And I think that's most everything before I bring up Long. One important thing is this whole event is being sponsored by SweetAssist.com. And I'm pretty sure everybody that is going to be presenting over the course of the next few days is a client of SweetAssist. So they've put together some of their top brokers, and you'll learn more about SweetAssist and how it's an all-in-one solution for your entire brokerage, everything from auditing to onboarding, offboarding, marketing, a bunch of cool things. With that said, I'm very excited to bring on my really good friend, someone that to me is one of the top executives, the top CEOs in the brokerage, especially in the independent brokerage space. Mike and Long, or Long and Mike, run a company called Realty Group, and they have, I think right now, over 560 agents. They're also very involved in generating traffic and leads for their agents. They own a ton of ancillary businesses, which you'll learn a lot about over the next few days. And what Long is going to talk about today is recruiting. And he's going to give you some actionable items that him and his partner have used to grow their company to be, I think, the biggest independent in their state. but I'm sure Long will tell you more about that. Long is going to come up right now and talk about, his title is If You're Not Recruiting, You Are Broke. And we don't want to be broke. We want to be brokers. So it's all about recruiting. Long, welcome, my friend.
Thank you, Sam. And miss you, man. I know at least with before COVID, there's always event. I see you 2-3 times a year. Now I haven't seen you in a while, dude. You look great, by the way.
I don't know about that, but thank you. Trying to keep up with you, dude. Yeah, I can't wait to get back in person and get to see you, but at least there's some Zooms here and there.
All right. So without further ado, I'll get started. Hi, everybody. How are you guys doing? I know this is a webinar format, so I don't get to see all you on the screen like I would normally at an event. But like Sam said, today we're going to talk about this whole event for broker owners. Is you guys going to have some awesome takeaway. Back when I started my brokerage back in 2009, I wish I had these type of events and opportunity to learn so that my learning curve would have been a lot better. But today we're going to talk about recruiting. And I get to kick off with recruiting because the word broker is spelled B-R-O-K-E-R. So without R, it stands for recruiting. So without R, you're just broke. And that's what Sam had mentioned. So I'm going to share my screen and I'll dive right into it. We got about 45 minutes. Hey, whoever's hosting, give me the host right so I can share the screen, please. But while we're waiting for that, Sam or Mike, but like Sam said, myself is, and my business partner, Mike Berniers out of Minnesota. We have a firm called Realty Group. We're 598 on the roster today. We're hoping to hit 600 by the end of this week. One of the fastest growing real estate company here. And we're very excited. And I'll share with you why, because the reason we're growing fast is by recruiting. So I'm going to go into our presentation and then I'll share that with you guys and we'll walk through it. Well, how to build a recruiting machine is kind of what I want to share with you guys today. And thank you for Sweet Assist for sponsoring us. We are actively using Sweet Assist right now. It's a great platform. If you're a broker owner, I highly recommend getting a demo and check it out to see if it's a good fit for you. So what business are we in? This is a trick question I have all the time. I was in the audience. I would ask to see, and a lot of people would answer. But it's a trick question because if you didn't really know, we are in the people business. So I'm guessing as broker owners or team leaders, all you guys are probably CEO of your own business and people is your business, right? People is your business. If that's the case, your main focus should be human capital accumulation or talent acquisition. I mean, if you guys are not doing that, how are you getting buyers, sellers, agents, brokers, partners, spouse, friends, acquaintances? This got to be on your daily schedule. If you look at your calendar right now and for the week, you don't have at least an hour or two block off every day to grow your company, you know, might as well just be an agent and produce. And I bet you many of you guys are still in production. I was in production when I started my company in 2009. And now I'm only doing transactions for my friends and families because even if I refer them to one of my agents, they're like, Long, I only want to work with you. I do those deals just so that I can stay sharp and I know what's going on out there so I can help our agents. But what is human capital? I think it's pretty self-explanatory, right? According to the dictionary, it's a collective skills, knowledge, or other intangible assets that you can use, you know, for your company. You know, habits, knowledge, social, personality, everything that is an intangible that doesn't show up on the balance sheet anywhere, but it's a huge asset for your company. So the more you have of these, the more you will grow, okay? Recruiting. As CEO of your business, recruiting should be your top priority. Right now, 50% of my time is spent on recruiting. That's the lane that Mike and I had decided that I would take. I do a lot more recruiting and Mike does. We have our roles that I bring them in and Mike keep them and make them do more deals. So the only way you can grow your business is in recruiting. And you guys want to look up the Latin word, that's where it came from. It's about growing, you know, and again and again. So here we go. Broker. That's how it's spelled, right? B-R-O-K-E-R. And R is for recruiting, you guys. Without it, you're just broke. You know, if you're not dedicating money time, system, process, technology, people, and other resources to recruiting, you need to reevaluate your business. And like I said, if not, you might as well just continue to do deals until you can't do them anymore. What is my qualification for doing this? I have personally recruited over 1,000 people within the last few years to my company. And my best recruiting, right here, his picture, he's going to be speaking tomorrow about how to maximize your internal platform as a business. So Mike Bernier, that's who you get to hear tomorrow. That's probably one of my best recruit for him to be with me. And then the best one by far is my life partner, my wife, Michelle. Okay, so here's her picture. My friends always tell me I definitely, outpick my coverage. I'm very happy. I'm very lucky to have my wife here, Michelle. She's beautiful. She's smart. And, by far my best recruit of the thousands or so people I've recruited. Okay, recruiting is an art. Mike and I have perfected this. We actually learned a lot of these as well from Sam, Oliver, and other brokers like you guys out there through networking and learning and growing together. But there's 10 steps. And I am, as you can tell here, an acronym geek. So my 10 step actually spelled out recruiting, if you can't tell from the first letter of every word, 10 step. Okay, I'll go through each of them, but essentially you need to know who you are. Before you start recruiting, you got to know who you are first, who your company is all about. And only then you can identify who you want, because you want it to be a good alignment, right? You don't want to bring on an agent and then they leave you in a couple months or a year because that's just not right. You're going to waste a lot of time because it costs you, acquisition cost for an agent is not cheap when you bring them on to retain them. You don't want to lose them before you actually become profitable with an agent. And only then, you can then craft your unique recruiting proposition, right? Why should they be with you instead of somebody else? Step number 4 is then you need to identify and acquire that target audience of agents you want to go after, because you don't want to go after every single agent in your market because they're not a good fit for you. You're just wasting your time. Okay. Step number 5 is when you start having marketing campaign. Okay. We call this omnipresence. The more they see you out there, stack and layer, go through that in a little bit. And then step 6 is where I see most people jump to, is then you go get the appointment. Without step 1 through 5, you're going to struggle getting the appointment to talk to somebody about your company. And I'll share with you why through the presentation. And then step 7 is the actual meeting, your presentation. What should you be saying? What should you be doing to make sure that you can get them to join your team? And then after that, step number 8 is a follow-up campaigns. Okay, these are, if you guys can see right here, it's almost the same as the process of working with buyers and sellers. Okay. So you got to market, you got to go through, you got to get in front of them, you got to talk to them, you hope you get a deal. So then let's say they say yes to you. Step number 9 is an onboard process. What does your onboard process look like? It's a honeymoon period. You want to make sure they're very happy, because step 10 is extremely important. If they're very happy with you, you can get some social proof, some video, and I'll tell you what we do with those. I know that we talked about having your questions saved to the end. So if you need to raise your hand, let me know. But otherwise, please make sure that you save it to the end, and we can definitely talk more about it then. All right. Rediscovery. What is your story? I mean, who are you? If you guys didn't know a lot about my story, you can just Google me, Long Doan from Minnesota. There's a tons of magazines about me, an article, but I'm originally from Vietnam. I was known as the boat people. So I was a boat person. I came to America when I was 13 years old by myself. I have a 50-50 survival rate. I joke all the time. Whoever I meet and talk to, I have a flip of a coin sitting here talking to them. Right. So that's my story. And then why I am the way I am, without going into it a lot. There was a moment on the refugee camp when I was 13 years old that I sat on the beach that actually define who I am, which I didn't know until later when I was 30 years old. By the way, knowing who you are and your why is what we call it, is actually a pretty important journey if you guys have not taken it yet. You will know your why when it hits you. You'll get very emotional. You'll cry. You'll know it. I want to make more money, take care of my family. That's a reason, not a why. And they say your why is usually created between the age of 8 and 15. And it's usually an event or a period of your life that shape who you are. So totally encourage you. That's a whole training seminar on its own. What is your mission? You know, what you're all about. Mine is, because of where I came from, I'm very passionate about giving back and paying it forward. I love helping people, and in the people business, if you help people, money will come. That's my mission, okay? And why I am the way I am, because I paid forward. You know, why do you do what you do, okay? My why, again, is I never want anyone to feel the way I felt that night on that beach when I was 13 years old, when I finally made it to a refugee camp, which in Wikipedia page is nicknamed Hell Island. It was considered to be the most heavily populated place on earth at that time. I was one of 40,000 people in the size of a football field, okay? So the way I felt that night was helpless, hopeless. I didn't know what to do, and I don't want anyone to ever feel that way. That's why I do what I do, okay? What is my vision? So in 2009, when I started Realty Group, I was an active broker like most of you guys. I was producing. I got on doing the bank owned. I closed 1,000 transactions my first 4 years. I did a lot of foreclosure. But it was 2014 when Mike and I became partners and we decided to grow the brokerage. Well, our vision is we want to be the brokers we wish we had when we were agents. So that's essentially our vision, and it's good to know that. That was step one. Know who you are. It's a pretty interesting journey that all you guys should probably do it for yourself. Step two is understand that you have what I call an ecosystem. What is an ecosystem? Who do you surround yourself with? Ecosystem is not linear, right? Who's going to be inside your circle? So who is in alignment with you? For us, we're not looking to add to anyone, and we're not right for everybody, because we have that ecosystem that we only want to add to inside our circle. That is the right people. That's the right alignment for us. Something that the reason for that is this. It's called the culture code. If you guys ever read the book, there's 3 reasons why people come to be with you or with your organization. Okay. Number one is they want to feel safe. When they're with you, they want to know that Sam and Oliver, Long and Mike, they're going to be safe here. We're not going to take advantage of them. We're not going to cheat. We're not going to work them to death and not pay them anything. They're going to feel safe, and they want to come to our company. Number 2 is they want to feel connected with you. This is why I'm very clear on my story, who I am. Everybody at our company knows my story, Mike's story. They feel connected with us because they identify with us as human and people. But the third one is very, very important, is a shared future or shared vision. When they come to join you, are you going to lead them to where they want to go? This is all about alignment. You know, if they're coming to you and you're not going where they should be going, why would they want to come with you or stay with you? And know those 3 things when you recruit and grow your company will help you recruit and retain. That's step number 2. Is know who you want. Step number 3 is what I call what is your core URP, your core value. It's knowing your unique recruiting propositions. Being unique or different is one of the most important strategic and tactical activities that you must always do. Instead of what I call value creation, always say, we'll pay more, we'll give more, we'll give you more lead. I would say value innovation. Be innovative, be different in your market than anyone can. Because of that, you will have no competition. Anytime you're just trying to create more value, someone will create more value than you. So just whatever that is about you uniquely, that's what you need to know and learn. Because why should they switch from their current broker or their team to be with you? Okay, what makes you a better option than what they have right now? Matter of fact, can you articulate that in your elevator speech? You know, an elevator speech is if someone jump in the elevator, they ride too far with you, and they ask, hey, what do? You got like a minute to talk about your elevator speech. You know, my elevator speech is that we're not looking to add just anyone, and we're not right for everyone. But if you are serious about not just surviving, but thriving in this ever fast changing market, our agents are averaging 104% increase in their first year with us. Let me know if you want to meet, and we'll see if you're the right fit for us. That's my elevator speech. Essentially share with them, come to us, we'll help you grow. And we don't know if we're the right fit for you. We're very selective. Now they're like, hey, all right, I want to hear more. Okay, that's step number 3. 4 is knowing who you want to go after, your right audience, right? And the reason I talk about that is we have different buckets of audience we go after. Number one is geographically. Okay. For some reason, agents want to have an office within 15 minutes to maybe even 30 minutes from where they live. They don't want to go any further, even though they come to the office probably once or twice a year. They still want to know that there's an office nearby they can call their office. Obviously, right now, a lot of you guys may be doing more virtual. That's okay too. Just know that if you want to recruit high profile, high producing, productive agents with teams, a lot of time they like to have an office that they can call their office. The other bucket we go after is demographic. Years of experience, older, younger, you got to know, because each of these guys, I will tell you in the next step, certain value proposition will resonate with them more than others. And then the third bucket we go after is their production. Okay. 0 to 6 deal, 6 to 12, 12 to 24, 24 to 36, or 36 plus. Is it solo versus a team? You got to know who your audience is so that you can create the right value proposition for them to say, that's the reason I need to sit down and talk to you. Okay. And then the other one we go after is the model. The model we compete with in the market, whether it's a split model, a flat fee model, W-2 model, or just brands, right? KW, Remax, Colwell, EXP, Redfin, you name it, other indie. So these are all of the things you need to take into consideration in your recruiting process. Now, how do you go find these people when you know them? You can use the MOS. You can use broker metrics. Some market like us, we have market view broker. So if you have showing time in your market, you probably have market view broker. We like that one the best because it also show the agent's home address. So when we do mail to them, we can mail to their home versus their brokerage, where the broker just throw all of our postcards and mailers away. Also, we can target them when we know we open an office. We target everyone within the 15 to 20 minutes radius of a new office. The next step is what I call upstream marketing. Okay. In the people business, you need to start nurturing relationship and play the long game. Okay. You might get lucky that an agent is pissed off at their broker right now and they want to make a change or something happen. But for the most part, you got to be nurturing them. So the art of nurturing relationship, ART. A stands for aspiration, which is high up in the funnel. They're thinking about maybe moving someday, but they're happy where they're at. R is the research, a little further down in the funnel. Okay. I'm just checking out what's out there. I want to see what's better than me. T is transactional. They're looking to move right now and they need to find a broker, right? So by the time T come along, if you didn't do the first few steps, they won't even heard of you or know who you are. So you got to make sure you be doing this. So we do upstream marketing, we call it, because you go before they need you, right? Upstream. So we do that using what we call a stacked and layered campaign. The reason being that is that some people might resonate better through advertising, like whether that be postcard, mailer, social media, through email, through text. And we finally, the last step, usually we do is that advertising, omnipresent. How do you get your name out there, your company out there so people know about you? Through social media, through mailers, through email, through text, to call. So that's all of the stuff campaign we put together that you guys need to just start doing, or you won't be having good success. Then and only then we go to step number 6. This is now initiate the meeting. Okay. A lot of people just make random call. I used to do that when I first started. I would make the call and they're like, who's this? This is Long with Realty Group. Well, I don't know you. And who's Realty Group? Yeah, I just want to tell you more about, see what a good fit for you. All right, I got you on the phone. Why don't you tell me? Well, I'm 2 minutes into it. No, I'm not interested. They hung up on me. That just didn't work very well for me. So what we do now is we hire, we have an ISA, inside sales agent, that makes the call to set appointment for me. Okay. But you get a lot of these meetings through referrals, your other people out in your market, people who know you, or just your agent. We have a great referral program. Ours is actually very similar to Sam and Oliver at Big Block in San Diego. Here in Minnesota, we give away a convertible BMW every year as a part of our referral program. Why? Everyone wants a convertible here in Minnesota, but it's not very practical. You can only drive it 5 months out of the year. Right now, I'm looking out snow and like 30 below. No one's going to want to drive a convertible here, but it's everything someone always wants. So our referral program is this. We don't know if it's a good fit, but if you refer somebody and they kept the appointment to sit down and talk to me, their name goes in a drawing. And every year we draw for a BMW. So that's part of our referral program. And then we have the ISA called the targeted list. These are the target buckets that I share with you. And then right now we have 2 of them. They will schedule an appointment for me. What happened is their first pitch is they want to see if, the agent want to talk to me about making the change. 9 out of 10 will say, I'm not interested. I'm happy where I'm at. They then switch to the networking pitch. So their networking script would say, okay, I understand, but if you should meet with Long because, he started Realty Group. He traveled around the country to speak. He loves to share and help other people. So, in 30 minutes or an hour of meeting with him, you can have some great nuggets to take away to help grow your business. And you may not be a good fit for Realty Group anyway. He's not looking to access anybody. He just loves to meet people. So that's how I meet. A lot of my meeting is because of networking. Okay. And then when they scheduled a meeting before COVID, most of it was in person because I love in person because I got them locked in for usually an hour. And, the reason you want to have in person, obviously, is the 7 levels communication. That's a great book for you to read if you guys have not read. It talks about the pyramid of 7 different levels, all the way up to the top is the in-person meeting. And location, we always try to drive them to our office because they come to meet you at the office. That's like a buying sign, right? I mean, they're interested, they're checking out your office. Otherwise, we meet a neutral location like coffee shops or restaurant. Before, I was doing a lot more Zoom meeting. My day would be pretty much efficiently set up where Mondays, I might be meeting in the west side of town, Tuesday, north side, Wednesday, south side, Thursday, east side. So then that way, my schedule can be packed where I'm not driving all over. My best one I had was the same Starbucks, 5 back-to-back meeting, right? So that's what we do. And then we use the calendar, either Calendly or Schedule Once. We use Schedule Once to schedule people so that they know when it's available. And that's how we sent the invite. So that's part of our initiating a meeting. The next step is the actual meeting, okay? So here's another great thing about having a system process set up, because again, you guys, as CEO of your company, systems run business, people run systems, right? If you don't have systems in place, you're the one running the business. But if you're not around, what if you're too busy, what can you do it? I'll tell you, most of you guys are probably do pretty well as in production, but success is the biggest enemy of growth. If you're doing really well in production, you probably are so busy, you're not even focusing growing your brokerage, right? So you got to put time into it. But so here's how we do it. Our ISA, when they set the appointment, 1 hour before the meeting, we use Schedule Once. So my appointment would automatically get a reminder via text to say, hey, just a reminder, you're meeting with Long at 123 Main Street. Here's a link for you to cancel, reschedule if you need to, all right? The second one they do is at 45 minutes. They actually hard confirm. They'll call or they'll text to say, hey, we just want to confirm that you're meeting with Long still, 123 Main Street, blah, blah, blah. And then once they're confirmed, I then get the email to tell me that, I'm meeting the person. And I'll touch on that a little bit. So, of course, they're going to meet at where I'm used to meeting. So I already have an advantage. I know where parking is. I can get there early. We only use the same Starbucks or Caribou Coffee or restaurant when we don't meet at the office. Literally, when I walk in, the barista know me like, hey, Long, the usual. Let's say whoever meeting is already there. They're like, holy cow, everybody knows this guy, right? Or if they come to the office, they sit in the waiting room, and even if they're on time, late, early, I make them wait for at least 3 to 5 minutes because in the waiting area, I've got magazine article, I've got awards and all kind of stuff around to show that I'm kind of a big deal, right? So it's almost intimidating them where the fact they go, holy cow, look how important this guy is and he's still meeting me. I better be selling myself that I'm worth his time. So that's another great thing to do. Also, when I meet with them, I also set the expectation. And so I say, hey, I just want to make sure that I don't waste, I don't go over our time. I know we got 60 minutes. So I'm going to set the alarm, make sure I don't go over, okay? Then I set my alarm for 45 minutes, and I'll tell you why in 1 second. So the first 45 minutes, the 7-level communication, this is where that one came from. FROG is the acronym. I talk about family, recreation, occupation, goal. Some of you might also know Ford. So D is just dreams instead of goals. Okay. So, when I get there, by the way, when my ISA confirm my meeting for me, they know they hard confirm, because if I was commuting or driving, that's 45 minutes. I'm not on the road driving somewhere, because most of the time my meetings are at 20 minutes or less of where I am, because I'm not driving all over town to meet people, right? So when they hard confirm, they send me an email and said, hey, Sam Karamian confirmed meeting with you. By the way, in the body of the email, they sent me 2 links. A social media link and a website link. If they have a website, I get a link of their website. Social media, I get a link to it. In 30 seconds, I can look and go, oh, whoever I'm meeting love to coach their kid baseball. They grew up in Minneapolis. They love to sail, soccer, golf. I already got some pretty good stuff already. And then they attach in the email to confirm for me an MVB report. That's a market view broker report. I get the report that literally tell me exactly what's the person's doing. I'm actually going to stop sharing right now and show you that in 1 second, okay? I'm going to show you this. So market view broker. Okay, I'm going to go to our top agent. Let's say if I was meeting her. So what cool thing about this report is you can see on here, it shows their email address, phone number, home address. She lives in Afton, Minnesota here. How many deals she closed. This is how many deals she closed last year, the last 12 months, all the activity, what city she closed it at, what her trend looked like. She's with us, so that's why she's increasing in her business with us, and she joined us, a year.
Excuse me, Long, do you want to share your screen real quick? I don't think...
Oh, thank you. I forgot that. Let me do that. Okay, thank you. Cuevas. So this report I get printed and emailed to me as an attachment. It shows me where she's from, what company she's with, her email address, her phone number, her home address, so I know where she lives already, how many deals she closed in the last 12 months, what her activities looking like right now, what city she's doing most of business in, looks like St. Paul, Minneapolis, her trend in the last 3 years, because she joined us a little over a year ago, so we are showing improvement with her, working with us, her average sales price, all this other cool stuff. So I already go in with all the intel when I meet somebody within 30 seconds of me before I'm meeting somebody to look at this stuff. So that's another thing that's great about this. All right, let me go back to sharing the screen of the presentation. Okay. So the meeting, right? So in the meeting, I went through the confirmation, set expectation, talk about.
You still don't have your screen showing.
Is it not showing yet?
Nope. There you go.
Thanks, bud. So then what I talk about when I first show up, then right away, I can already tell where they live because I got the address. I might say, hey, Artemisa, so did you grow up in St. Paul? She's like, yeah, I know I'm originally from wherever. So we talk about it and then roll right into family. It's just having conversation, having fun, talking to them, learning, know about them. So let's say that starts to go stale a little bit. We go to recreation. Hey, what do you do for fun? Or I might say, hey, I see that you love to travel with your husband, because on Facebook or on website or whatever they say, right? They're like, oh, wow, this is cool. By the way, because they sent me those information, if I meet them at a neutral place, I walk in, I know what they look like already. I come right up to them and say, hey, Artemisa, this is Long. They're like, wow, this person already know who I am, what I look like, right? It's all this huge advantages. And then I go into the occupation, okay? Of course, there'll be their real estate business. I ask them what they're doing, how they're doing. And then I ask them about their goal. Okay, hey, what do you want to do? What you going to want to do for the next 12 months, 18 months? So what happened is during the presentation, I'm getting more information so that I can prioritize their needs. Because by the time I share with them about what we have to offer, I want to hit all their hot buttons that they've shared with me. I wish to spend more time with my family. I love to coach. I want to more travel. I wish I can keep more of my commission. Whatever all this goal is, if I did not have a chance, this is where I usually jump in. And after I ask them all the questions, they usually ask me back about my family, my recreation. I share with them because I want to build that rapport with them. I want to make sure I like them. By now, when the 40 minutes is up, if I have not had the chance already, but I usually doing the occupation or the goals, I actually would then ask them, oh, that's great. You know how Realty Group is set up? You mind if I share that with you? Usually by now you've earned it. Okay, you've listened to them, you got to know them. They're already probably most likely go, well, yeah, tell me about it already. We've been here half an hour. And unlike any other recruiting meeting, you haven't tried to recruit me yet. So they're ready, the walls down, they feel uncomfortable, they trust you, they already like you. So I go into and I share about it. And my presentation is about 10 minutes or so. Okay, I got it packed in really good to share all the stuff that we have. Okay, if not, when a 45 minutes alarm I set goes off, I'm like, hey, I got 15 minutes left with you. I don't make sure we use our time wisely. Thank you for sharing everything with me. I would love to share with you how Realty Group works because based on what you tell me, you'll be a great alignment and I would love to have you here. Why? Number one, before I met them, they already meet my requirements because I already target them. I know their production, where they're from. That's the only reason they're meeting with me. I don't meet with just everybody. So, but now that I got to know them more, they get to like me, know me. So the presentation, I go what I call the platinum rule, okay? Many of you guys know about the golden rule, right? Do unto others as they want to be done themselves, right? For them. What you want to do for yourself, right? That's the gold rule. The platinum rule says do what they want to get done. So not what you want to do, because you think what you think is good for you may not be good for them. So this is why I go through this whole presentation with them to get to see what the platinum rule is I should apply. So at the end, I usually have the closing statement or a question I would ask. So before I go into that, I usually ask them somewhere in the first 30 minutes when they share with me about their brokerage, their team, where they're at, I would say, hey, from the scale 1 to 10, 10 is like the perfect scenario for you. This is why you're at this company. You got everything you ever needed. Scale 1 to 10, where you at right now? Very rare I hear 10, unless it's their own brokerage, of course, that they started. Usually like a 5, 6, 7, 8. This is, okay, what would it take for you to be a 10? They tell me what that is, and I will see if I offer that, and that's when I go into it, okay? And then usually by now, I got them so interested. Right now, I'm a 50% conversion rate. When I meet with anybody, even if to network, 50% of my meeting I meet come join our company. Last month, we onboarded 36 agents, okay, in January here in Minnesota. So this is the time I spend. All I do is the actual meeting. My process system is set up, I do nothing else. I don't do all the marketing. I don't do the calling, setting appointment. I don't confirm. I don't follow up. That's all I free myself up for. So usually then at this point, I talk about a transition plan and the broker breakup. So the transition plan is I want to share with them how easy it is to transition to us. We have what we call a 94-point checklist to transition them to our company. So that's when I go into it. And then I talk about the broker breakup. I'm trying to coach them, especially with productive agent. Now, if you try to break up with your broker, they're going to try to talk you out of it, right? So I usually use the analogy like, hey, if you ever broke up with a boyfriend, girlfriend in the past, maybe in a divorce, what's going to happen when you have the conversation? The other side's going to say, no, I promise I'll come home on time. I'll help with the laundry. I'll help with dinner. We go out to movie night, all the stuff they'll promise you. And in a couple of months, it'll back to where it's at. Or I'll give you a higher cut. I'll give you more leads, Okay, if that's the case, why didn't you give it to me until I'm telling you I'm leaving, right? So I'm already prepping them for this. And I actually coach them that, hey, you don't want to burn any bridges. So I would definitely give them a courtesy heads up that you leaving, but probably the easiest is just let us transfer you and you just give them a text, call, email, or you can meet in person and thank them for everything they've done for you and that you've decided to move to Realty Group and there's nothing personal. So now they're already transferred before they do the broker breakup, unless they have a bunch of deals they need to talk to their broker about how to transition them, okay? The next step is the interval follow-up. After the meeting, what happens? Well, I let them know, hey, now that we're done meeting, I'm going to send you an email to recap everything we talked about, okay? So be expecting that. And then I shoot them the email and I copy in my team. That's the only thing I do after every meeting. If I didn't do it right away, my team remind me, hey, can you send the email? So there's 4 emails I sent out. One is called the transfer license transfer email. When I send that out, I send it to the person I met and my team so that they know they execute on that drip campaign. So the license transfer dash Mike Cuevas, okay? And then in email, I said, hey, it's great to meet you, blah, blah, blah. And then I give them everything that we offer. And then I tell them that our team's going to follow up to help them with the transfer. So our team see the email, they jump on it and they reach out and they start the transferring process. The second email is a follow-up meeting email. So everything's almost the same except the subject line, follow-up email dash Mike Cuevas. And then in there, I will tell them everything about Realty Group again. And I said, my team's going to reach out to schedule a follow-up appointment for us to chat more to see if this is a good fit, because it was truly networking. They had a bunch more questions because they weren't interested in moving, but now they are. So I set up that follow-up meeting. Okay. The third email I sent out was called thank you email. After we met, it just doesn't seem right. They're where they're at. They can't move for a while. Maybe their broker's their brother, whatever it might be. I do a thank you email, and I still send them everything we have to offer, because you never know what could happen in the future. And I ask them to refer that to anybody they know that's looking for a place like ours. Okay. So 50% of the time, I send a license transfer email, because 50% of the time they're transferring with me. Okay. I would say about 25% of the time, if not 30% of the time, it's a follow-up email. So what we do then is they try to schedule follow-up. And then the other 15-20% of the time, it's a thank you email. So we drip them now. We're constantly sending them invitation to show up to a free training, an event we're having for fun. We drip them until they tell us to take them off their program. By the way, we use Broker Kit and Follow-Up Boss for that. Okay. So the very last email, I've only sent out a handful of times, because remember, the people I meet is the people I targeted already. So it's called Let's Keep in Touch, Mike Cuevas. Okay, that email, our team knows, is put into the do not solicit list ever again. That's like the list that you're on if an agent ever referred that Mike Cuevas to me again down in the future. Mike's not a good fit. Mike, not to pick on you, but you're on this one, so I'm calling on your name. So that's the 4 email that I sent out. License transfer, follow-up. I know I got a few minutes, so I'll go really fast for question. And then the nurturing campaign, again, we set up the campaign for them. The next step is the nesting, right? For you who have kids, you know what nesting means, right? So if they say, yes, I want to transfer, now what? So we follow up with them on a transition plan. We have a pre-onboarding, we have an onboard, and we have a post-onboard. So this is for people who say yes to. That's the step 9. If in our market, if they do about 24 deals or more a year, that's 2 a month on an average, they get the VIP plan. So that's the one where we put our top people on to reach out to them to make sure that they get the really smooth transition plan. The very last step, I call the greeting message, which is technically social proof. So what happens after they onboarded with us, it's a honeymoon period. They're probably getting all the call, the text. Hey, Mike, why did you move to Realty Group, man? What's going on? They're getting all the inquiries, and they're the most excited and the most impressed with us right now, because we have all of the steps in place to make it really smooth. That's when we capture the testimonial, and then we target their office or their model where they came from. If we have a really influential agent, we target the entire market and make the announcement that so-and-so made the move. We just had an agent came from KW that did 60 deals last year. We target his office and all of the KW office with his video, say, man, it's not too good to be true. I'm here right now. Call me if you want to learn more. Otherwise, reach out to Long, and then he'll share more with you. So that's how we reach out, and we kept recruiting. Okay. Summary, 10 steps to recruiting. I went by really, really fast, but essentially it's spelled out recruiting, but I make sure you have them all in place so that you can have great long-term success. And this is my contact info. You guys can also IM me on Facebook. A lot of time I'll reach out to you guys with questions later, but for now, Mike, we can open up for questions if there's any questions in the chat room.
Long, can you tell us what your challenge is for the group?
Yeah, so my challenge is put together your own elevator speech of why someone should sit down and talk to you. And I challenge you to go out there and use that and get 3 appointments if you can by tomorrow.
Awesome.
The appointment can be next week, okay? So you want to get elevator speeches, craft it up. Here's the thing I want you guys to all learn is to have the growth mindset versus the fixed mindset. You might screw up on the first few calls, tweak your elevator speech until you get better. Mike and I and Sam and Oliver have this saying, we talk to each other all the time. We're going to build a plane while we're flying it. So don't worry about having the perfect elevator speech. Just go out there and freaking try it.
Long, can you share with the group your recruiting script? Could we post that into the group?
Yep, definitely.
Okay, so we'll have Long send that off to Mike Cuevas' team. We'll post his recruiting script inside of the group. I will share our recruiting script as well. so that you have, the basis of the beginning of the convo for setting up the coffee meetings or whatever it may be. A couple of questions long. What system do you use for follow-up?
Yep. So, we have follow-up boss as our CIM. So we're using that as well. The only thing you got to worry about is you have to have a separate follow-up boss account, because when they go in there and they become one of your agent, they cannot become a customer. So that's one thing. And we use broker kit. So broker kit is how we track and grip people as well. Those are the two that we're using.
Love it. And is your ISA in-house or out-house? And
Yep,
what's the cost?
Assistant from the Philippines. And that's all they do every day. They make about 150, 160 calls from the list we give them. And they have 30, 40 conversations. They set an average of 2 to 3 appointments for me a day.
Yeah, for myself and Oliver, our growth really started to expand when we layered all the stuff that Long was talking about. We've had both in-house and out-house. And I don't think either one is right or wrong. We've had success with both. But when we have them in-house, we generally set them up on a close to minimum wage base plus like $100 per recruit that they get. Our company is very similar to Long. We recruit about 40 agents a month. So that money starts to stack up for them. So a really good way to set it up is you have the people making the dials, but at the same time, like Long said, he's targeting agents online. You're probably seeing some of his ads already. I see them all the time. So he's present everywhere. His company is present everywhere. And when they get that phone call from the ISA, Realty Group and Long already have an elevated presence, which obviously helps set those appointments. A couple other things I want to break down, and if you have any other questions, go ahead and throw them in the chat. Let's quickly talk about the car giveaway and how it's structured, because most of the time when Oliver and I will tell people, yeah, we give away a Mercedes every year, their minds explode, because what do they assume? They assume that every year we're writing a check for 50 grand and giving someone, a paid off car. So I'll tell you how we structure it. Or Long, why don't you tell them how yours is structured? Because I'm assuming it's pretty similar to ours.
We probably learned this from you as well, but you're exactly right. For us, we do as a 3-year lease, and the winner, the lease under their own name. So, we reimburse them, because here's why. If they ever leave the company, that's their payment they got to deal with, right? That's one retention. We don't want a winner to be leaving a company after getting the lease. So that's how we structure it. So it's for 3 years. The cost for us is about $750 a month. If you add up to it for 3 years, that sounds like a lot, but hey, if you know the average agent, what they bring into you, for us, it's $6,800 a year per agent to bring into us on the brokerage side, right? So you get 3 agents, 4 agents, that's already paid for the vehicle itself for 3 years. The first year we did that, we when we first started, we were smaller, Sam, than you guys, so we did like a free trip, Minnesota, right? Winter time, one free trip. But then when we went to the car, that first year, when we learned that from you guys, we brought in 90 agents. The second year, we brought in 140 agents because of the car giveaway.
Yeah, it's a huge giveaway. Congrats on that. Just to recap, his is $750 a month. So if they give away a car every year, that means that for $2,250 per month, because by the time you give away the fourth one, the first one is ended. So your maximum exposure at $750 is $2,250 a month. You have to ask yourself, is it worth $2,250 a month to recruit 10 and then 50 and then 100? I think last year our number of referrals was around 170 or something like that. So obviously, if it's $2,200, we do a $500 allowance. So our biggest liability is $1,500 a month. And that way we're giving away a Mercedes every year. Not only that, we get to make a lot of noise about it. So we'll videotape them checking out the cars, doing their test drives, signing the papers, etc.
Yeah, I'll add to that. I saw Sal Torres on the question. So you also need to know and budget for your acquisition cost. First, we know it's about $500 per agent to bring on. That's what we budget for. Because on an average, right, you're supposed to spend 10% of your for marketing for what you want to bring in revenue. We know we get $680-$800 per agent. We would budget $680. So $380 go through the lease and all this other stuff when it adds up to the other $500. What we do is, if we like the agent and they do join us, the first deal they close, we get $500 here. We give that $500 to the referred agent who referred them.
So Marine said, can you give us a peek into the contract structure and leasing process and what companies you've used for the car lease. Do you want to touch on that, Long?
Yeah, I mean, if you guys have it too, you can share that as well. I know that's probably be part of Oliver's presentation maybe as well, because he's also on the recruiting part. This is why we focus a lot on recruiting, you guys. If you're not recruiting, man, you're just broke.
Next question, and Marine, I can help you with that offline as well. We've always used Mercedes. We use Mercedes of San Diego every time. We have a deal with them where since we go through them every year for a new car, they'll send 3 Mercedes to our holiday party. Obviously, we didn't have one this year, but normally at our holiday party, we'll have the 3 cars inside of the party. Everyone's taking photos with them, posting it on social, who's going to win one of these things, etc. So we always use Mercedes of San Diego, but wherever you go, you guys are probably going to do a Tesla. I already know that. And I think you guys have given away, I don't even know how many, Marine. You guys have given away a lot of Teslas. So hopefully that helps. And if you need more help with that, we can talk offline. Another question is how to pick a good ISA, Long. How do you guys pick your ISAs?
Yeah, at the
What
end
do you
of the
look
day,
for?
just like when they're trying to convert lead for you, right? It's the same thing. So just for us, we do use the VA from the Philippines. I know you guys had someone in-house. Obviously, most people don't have the talent that Corey Rose would have, right? But for us, we just set the appointment, and I'm still doing most of the meetings right now. I am now scaling where I'm doing 12 deals or more a year, and then less than that, someone else is meeting them. But just someone who can speak good enough English where, you know, they're not getting shut down right away because they have a very heavy accent. For our ISA, speak better English than me. So she, you know, just pound the phone, call the list, and work the script. You know, that's all there is. And just make the freaking call because you already done all the other stuff. So it's a lot easier. Again, she's making 160 calls and setting 2 to 3 appointments a day.
Awesome. And that's something that I think Oliver will touch on in his presentation. And I don't want to touch on it yet, but his whole thing is going to be how to find the right people for your team. Because if you want to recruit, you need to have the right recruiters. If you want to keep people, you need to have the right people on your agent concierge team or customer service team or whatever it may be. So Oliver's going to break all that down. There was another question. Is there a minimum number of referrals in order to qualify for the car? So in our company, we don't have any minimum. The first year we did it, we said as a collective group, we have to have at least 30 people referred and joined for the contest to become activated. And we obviously hit that number, and since then it's never been an issue. So every single time an agent refers an agent, if it's 1 time or 12 times, their name goes in the hat that many times. And then, you know, in front of everyone, it's the luck of the draw. And, you know, sometimes the people that win, like I remember one time the winner only referred 1 agent, and the agent was her husband. So like she got lucky, and that same year we probably had another agent that referred 15 agents. So you never know, but that's how we structure ours. Long, do you have anything to add to that?
Yep, we did the same. We actually even purposely let people know one winner only had 2 refer and one only had 3, right? To let them know that there's a chance. All you do is need 1 name to win. But there's one thing we did pretty cool, Sam, except this year because we couldn't have the live event like you guys as well, is that you have to be present to win. Because we were trying to get participation. So all the 3 we given away so far, the first name was called was not there. So we made a huge deal out of it. So then everyone, last year we had like almost 50% participation. 400 people were there because they brought their spouse and stuff. But yeah, that's what we did. So you got to be present to win. This year, we're not doing that. The second thing we do, like you guys, is that we have at least 250 appointments this year. By the end of the year, we will give away a second vehicle.
I love it. Love it. So a couple of questions, and then we'll move on to Oliver. If you have any other questions, get them in now so we make sure we address them. The question is how to avoid conflict with competing brokerages when recruiting in the marketplace. I think Long and I and Oliver probably have the same answer. That is, you're going to have some sort of feelings anytime you recruit from someone, and the more you recruit from a certain office, you might call it conflict or frustration. It's part of the game. At times it might not be comfortable, but I'll tell you for sure, I know all 3 of us feel the same way. If you don't have that quote unquote conflict, I think it's more just feelings, like people are going to have feelings when you recruit agents from their office. If that's not happening, that means you're not recruiting in volume. So it's part of the game. Obviously we all lose agents, right? Like Realty Group loses agents, Big Block loses agents. The agents we recruit from are leaving another brokerage. It's part of the game. And I think that a good broker, and this is important, a good brokerage like ours or like Long, when we lose an agent, we hug them on the way out and we let them know that we have a spot for them. A lot of other brokerages will let that conflict take control of their emotion, and they're like really mad and arguing with the agent when they're leaving. And if they leave and join Big Block, and Big Block completely drops the ball and broke all of our promises, and they decide to leave Big Block, I promise you they're not going to go back to the brokerage that made them feel like a jerk for leaving. So the conflict is going to be there. It's just handle it with class and be the classier of the two acts. Do you have anything to add to that, Long?
Yeah, along that side, we always talk about taking the high road. We tell agent all the time, never put down the other broker. It's scarcity versus abundance, right? There's plenty of opportunity out there, plenty of business. It's all about alignment. So we always talk about the journey. We said, hey, if you just align with us now in your journey, where you are in your life, you might be with us 3 years and you might leave us to go somebody else. So it is what it is. But we always thank them for the journey so that you guys also know the lifetime of an agent with a brokerage are usually about 2 years to 2.5 years. So, if you do a good job to retain them longer than that, which we do, is awesome. But the other brokerages need to know that.
It's the name of the game. Last question. What time of the year is the car giveaway?
For us, we go just a calendar year. So we go from January 1st to December 31st on the contest. And whenever we have the meeting, we give it away. So the party. Ours is usually in January or February. So then give us 2 more months because they don't want it in the cold winter. So we actually don't even give them the actual car until like April or May in the spring. And that's when we do a whole huge campaign and blast that out.
Love
That's
it.
why during recruiting season, we don't need the help. But when we release the car in April and May, for us, summer is not high for recruiting season. So that also helps us to keep recruiting rolling.
Very strategic. We give ours away at our holiday party every year. It's usually the first week of December. We try to have our holiday party before everyone else's. We usually pick the first Thursday. And our holiday party is one of our biggest recruiting tools. Last year we had almost 1,000 people there. It's company agnostic. Like, doesn't matter what brokerage you're with, doesn't matter what company you work for. It doesn't matter if you're not in real estate. Like, if you want to come and you want to party with us, like we run a cruise terminal. It's huge. We have a lot of space. We have a lot of fun. You guys should go look at Long's party last year. It looked like Cirque du Soleil. I was very, very impressed. But you have to remember that now you have your competing brokerages agents coming to your party, taking photos, taking a picture of the Benz, taking a picture of, breakdancing Santa and all these different cool things that we do. So we do that at our holiday party, and you also have to be present to win. Although this year it was virtual, so it was different. All right, Long, thank you for your time. Long will be in the group as well. If you want to connect with Long, find him on Facebook or Instagram. He'll be in the group. Make sure you do your challenges, and we'll have him post his script in there as well. Long, any final thoughts?
The only thing I would say before Oliver jump on is that I said in the beginning, I wish I had this type of format when I first started my brokerage. I was lucky enough to get to know these guys. So you guys are here now. This is like a new fraternity for you guys. We're going to start a group. Everybody's going to be in there sharing, learning. So I encourage you guys to be really engaged. That's it, man.
Awesome. Long, thank you so much. Round of virtual applause for you, buddy.